Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to the channel. Recently, Sony unveiled the PlayStation 5 in an amazing showcase. Stay tuned while I break it all down. So I'm going to start with the actual PlayStation 5, the controller. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Now, a lot of the internet is making fun and memeing the PlayStation and its look. I get it. I get it. A lot of these people are probably Xbox fans or genuinely think that the system looks ridiculous, which I can get. But at the same time, I think it looks sleek. I think it looks future-proof. I feel like 10 years from now, Sony's PlayStation 5 is still going to look nice. It's going to look appropriate alongside the Xbox Series X, which is going to look like a console circa 1999. So, in that respect, I think that they made a system that is going to look good going into the future. Now, aside from the little aesthetics that make it look interesting, if anything, I think that the accents of the white on the black and the lighting, it looks great. I'm really excited for this system. Yeah, it looks a little bit like a router, but it looks sexy still. There's two variants of the console, one that's all digital, one that has a 4K Blu-ray disc drive in it, which is amazing if you still buy DVDs and Blu-rays and all that stuff. I don't, and I've noticed through the PS4 generation that it's become almost none. Like, I just don't buy DVDs and I don't buy games because I share my games with one of my friends. So, I just don't see myself needing a disc drive. Now, if there's only a $50 difference between the disc system and the base system, I'll probably buy the disc system. If it's $100, I'll consider it. I'm not really sure. It just doesn't seem like something I personally need. Now, let's step away from the console itself and talk about that controller. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It looks sleeker. It looks like it's gonna feel better in your hands than the PlayStation 4 controller and any PlayStation controller that's come before it. Personally, I think all the features are very welcome. 3D sound is something that I'm interested to see. I've only experienced this once, but being able to play without headphones on and have this kind of experience is lovely. I think that that is an exciting feature. Haptic feedback is a great feature, something I'm very excited for because we've experienced it with the analog triggers of the Xbox One. We've experienced it with the Joy-Cons, and when done properly, it really immerses you in these experiences. So I'm excited to see how games like God of War or Bloodborne might use haptic feedback. And especially when you consider that the Move controllers, the new up-to-date Move controllers, the new VR headsets might have haptic feedback in them, could immerse players even further. Like, that's a really exciting prospect. It has motion controls and the rest of what you would expect from the PlayStation 5 controller, so, you know, there's nothing really new there. And yeah, that's all I have to say about the console in its entirety. Now, let's move on to the games, which is why we're here. Where is my notepad? Okay, so first up, they kind of scared us all with a lot of GTA footage. That's 3 generations this game has successfully been on, and will probably continue to see success going into this next generation. And while some people might want to jump to the conclusion that Rockstar knows how to milk a product, I prefer to think that they know how to make a product so good that it can transcend decades. So congratulations, that's cool. But once this little montage was over, we were then treated with the rest of the show, which was exactly what we were hoping for, starting with the amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Now, I never played the original. I have it, still have yet to play it. I know you can slap me later, but this has me excited. I really want to play this version. Seeing the two side by side, you can see the differences. They're slight, but I'm sure on actually playing the game we'll definitely see the difference. But I am very intrigued to see how they differentiate this experience from the first experience. Hopefully adding more options on how to take down enemies and how to take on stealth situations. That was definitely one thing I noticed through looking at the first game and comparing it to the Rocksteady Batman games. The stealth aspect just didn't feel as fleshed out as it could have been. Next up, one of my favorite games of all time, and it hasn't always been. GT has always been one of those games that was too difficult for me up until maybe 3 years ago, when I really started to take these games more seriously when it came to approaching the nuanced nature of a simulation game. Driving aside, we know that this game is going to be on par with its predecessor. Graphically, this game is beyond levels that GT has ever seen. Now, I hate to admit this because I love GT, but it always seems to be just a slight step behind the competition. Now, GT on the PS4 did sport some of the best car models we have ever seen. In fact, I would say the best car models we've ever seen in a video game. But by doing so, the rest of the game just wasn't as detailed as a game like, say, Forza. And so that kind of always bummed me out when you would go into first-person mode and everything looked great in your cockpit. This is great, this is beautiful. But you look in your rearview mirror and everything is disappearing as it gets too far away from you. I instantly noticed this in the trailer, and I'm hoping that these are in-game graphics and they're not fooling with my soul, because if I jump into this game on the PS5 and that reflection of objects going off into the distance shows any sign of pop-out, I might have to blow a gasket. Anyway, next up, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This game looks insane. Like, honestly, when you think about the one that came out on the PlayStation 4 and comparing it to this, it doesn't feel like there's too much difference. But when you put them side by side, you can see a difference. When you see just how much more active the world is, how many more destructible bits are going on, how many moving parts, it's just, the volume has been cranked to 10 with this game. And on top of all this splendorous goodness happening on screen at once, you're also transitioning between different worlds. You're also pulling worlds toward you to get to new areas. Like, this stuff is happening so seamlessly, so quickly, that this game truly is a showcase of what the SSD is going to be capable of when it comes to your gameplay experiences. So overall, immensely impressed with the new Ratchet & Clank. I can't wait to play this game and experience it myself, because I'm sure seeing it on my phone is not as good as what it's going to look like on my TV. Yes, I'm excited for this. Now I just need a 4K TV. Now, I want to make sure I say this right. Project Athia? I don't know. Athia? Looks amazing. Have no idea what's going on, but the prospect of a new ambitious title under Sony's belt is always an exciting prospect, as it will probably be a benchmark of some sort. Stray looks weird, but I like weird. You play as a cat, which is interesting at the least. I can't wait for more info on this game. I am very intrigued at the very least. Next up, we've got Returnal. Returnal? Anyway, it looks absolutely incredible. It kind of reminded me of Death Stranding in its intensity and oddness and just not knowing what is going on. But then the shooter aspects just made me feel different feels. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing here. It seems like a game that's going to be a psychological thriller action adventure. I see elements of other games in this that I find exciting to be mashed into one. So I am excited to see more info on this game. It looks like a very ambitious project. Next up is Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Looks like a lot of fun, but it didn't blow me away by any means. Seems like a game that should be preloaded with the system, just like Astrobot. Kena, Bridge of Spirits, is absolutely beautiful and action-packed, gearing up to be a Legend of Zelda-like experience, it seems. So I am obviously very excited for this. Destruction All-Stars, yeah, it looks cool, it looks fun, it looks energetic and bright and colorful. Did it impress me? Not really. Did it remind me of Fortnite? Yes, it did. It's like Fortnite meets Destruction Derby, or Fortnite meets the crash mode from Burnout. So, like, it's cool. I'm sure we'll have fun with it, but is it something that's hella on my radar? Not really. Now, originally I wanted to say, what the heck is Say Goodbye Volcano High? Just seemed very weird. But on watching the trailer one more time, there were elements of it that kind of spoke to me. More personally than I was expecting. And it's just left me wondering what kind of experience this is going to be. And it kind of makes me want to play it. I'm very interested in the game. Some of the ideas that they're presenting with this game, maybe not the RPG elements, but most of the interactions with people and the intensity of those interactions kind of reminds me of Persona. It could be really in-depth, maybe even more so than Persona, I don't know. But it seems like something I definitely want to keep my eyes out for. Next up is something that I'm head over heels for because I've always been an Oddworld fan. I was originally introduced to Munch's Odyssey and then played the previous games and have played some of the more recent games, and I was just impressed overall. Like, yes, it's a side scroller, but it just looks gorgeous and epic, and the story looks great, the voice acting on point. So I am definitely excited for this game. In fact, Munch's Odyssey just released on the Switch, so at some point when that goes on sale, I will be picking that up. That was one of my favorite Xbox games. This next one is quite special. To me, this game is definitely going to be a day one purchase. Ghostwire. Now, I don't know to what extent the developers have reconstructed Tokyo, but they made a point to make it seem like this was the most accurate depiction of Tokyo, modern day Tokyo, that had ever been portrayed in a video game. That, right off the bat, has me very excited, and I look forward to that element, but then you add the fatal frame, ghost killing. It almost had elements of Killer 7 in there, which was intense because it's a lot more action-packed than, say, Fatal Frame. There's just a lot going on in this game, and it is very fast-paced. It's pretty well-designed, and just, it looks eerie, and at the same time, action-packed. I love that. I love the combination that they've made here. I think it's something definitely to check out. Now, some of my notes have gotten mixed up, so I'm probably no longer going in order of what was shown at the show, but just get over it. we're having fun here, okay? Let's just continue. Okay, so next up on my list, Hitman 3 was disappointing. Like, I used to love Hitman. Hitman 2, cream of the crop. Just an absolutely amazing game. Contracts was good, but Hitman 2 was definitely my favorite. And the series has just never evolved the way I was hoping it would. And yes, I'm not saying that it hasn't evolved a bit over time, but it just doesn't float my boat the same way it used to. So I'm excited for the prospect of 3, but I just overall, the visuals were not impressive. Like, certain scapes that they were showing were nice, but the character models look stiff. They're still suffering from that last gen stiff animations and hands and fingers and, joints. It just doesn't look fluid. It doesn't look organic. It doesn't look believable yet. So I'm hoping that this game really steps it up before the launch, but currently it looks okay. But the fact that they tried to make us believe that the animation on Agent 47 in that final cinematic before the end of the video was in-game, I mean, I'd like to believe that that is what the PlayStation 5 is capable of in-game, but that doesn't match up with the other models we were seeing throughout the rest of the video. So I'm still on the fence. Though I will say Dubai looked good, the sky looked good, the building looked good, but it just doesn't, it feels still too rigid. It doesn't feel like that jump into next gen the way it should. Anyway, let's move on. Oh my goodness, Astrobot. Astrobot is just beautiful and too cute for words, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you haven't played it, hopefully this will be your first introduction and you can see how lovely it is, and you get your PlayStation 5 and it's right there ready for you to play. This will be preloaded. I love that they're doing that. The one on the PlayStation 4 is VR only, unfortunately, but my goodness, what an amazing experience. Like, that totally hooked me onto the idea of virtual reality. That and Super Hot. But Astro Boy was amazing. Just an incredible experience. So I'm looking forward to this a whole lot. Little Devil Inside, I'm not gonna lie, completely surprised me. Like, yeah, the graphics, the style, should I say, not the graphics, because it's a very clean game. The style is very, almost Saturday morning cartoon. Like, there's just something about it. It's just got that style. It's almost like Lego meets Saturday morning cartoon, but it is so fluid, and the way that the game plays, the animations involved, there's so much about this game that makes me wish that Monster Hunter was like this. There's just something so lovely about it, something so fluid, and that I feel like going forward into this next generation, being authentic in the kinds of experiences that you're trying to portray is going to be so important, and is going to open up a lot of rehash of old experiences, making them feel fresh and new. So I'm excited for that, and this feels somewhat like that. NBA 2K21 can just sit on the sidelines with all that sweat. Stop trying so hard, 2K. Time to get back to your roots and do sports games properly. I mean, luckily, we're not going to have to worry so much about load times on these upcoming systems, especially the PS5, so you guys got lucky is all I'm going to say. Island of Bug Snacks is not at all for me. Not when I'm potentially waiting for Pikmin 4. Come on, Nintendo! Demon's Souls looks drop dead gorgeous. I've been playing Dark Souls and Bloodborne extensively lately, and it's been incredible. Such great games, especially Bloodborne. That is just a magnificent gem of a game. But I look forward to playing Demon's Souls, even though I know this game is significantly harder, and it's probably going to do a number to me. But I am completely excited to play this game, and it looks just delicious. Okay, so this is probably one of my favorite games of the show. Now, I have a lot of games that I really enjoyed from the show, but this one was just so unique, so weird, and it's called Jet: The Far Shores. It's obviously a space exploration game that felt as alone and desolate as Death Stranding without all that Kojima weirdness, you know what I'm saying? I'm really digging the look of the experience, and in a way it kind of reminds me of Interstellar. Just a small aspect of Interstellar, just trying to find other worlds. So the whole idea of this game, exploring oceans and exploring different types of planets, it's gonna be kind of like No Man's Sky, but without all the little extra bits, and I kind of like that. I think sound is gonna be a very important part of this game. You know, it's almost gonna be one of those games that's more relaxing than anything else. So I'm excited. I like games like this, and they don't often come about. So I'm definitely gonna get this day one. And the graphics, they are so on point with what I want from a game like this. You know, if you're gonna be a simulation like space traveling game like this, you gotta have those visuals that meet the level of expectation. So I'm very happy. Next up we got Godfall. We got to actually see some gameplay footage of the game, and I'm just going to say this. I mean, maybe it was viewing this footage on my phone. Maybe I really need to see it on a TV, but it just didn't look next gen. The trailer didn't help the way that they did it. It just didn't scream next gen. It kind of felt like it played like For Honor, which isn't a bad thing, but it would have been nice to see, I don't know, some cinematics of the story or something. I really have no idea what to expect with this game, and so until I know more about the game, the story, what the game is essentially about, I'm probably going to keep this one on the fence. Just overall not very impressed. I never played Hyper Light Drifter, but Solar Ash has me excited to play both. I am so in love with the style of these games. Next up we have Deathloop, which looks kind of like a BioShock Time Splitters hybrid. I'm incredibly excited for the shooter from Bethesda. Resident Evil Village. That's all. I don't even know what to say. I really went into this thinking, and even hearing the rumors of Resident Evil Village beforehand, I was not, I felt like I was already gearing up to be not impressed with this game. It looks amazing. I wasn't a huge fan of 7. 7 was a good game. It was a scary game, but it didn't feel much like a Resident Evil, so to speak. Now, they've taken that engine, that feel, obviously boosted it up to max settings, and they've given us more of a Resident Evil-like story and world to explore. It's on point. It looks perfect. It looks like what I want a Resident Evil first-person shooter to be like. So, yeah. Pragmata has me pretty confused, but like I said, I love new IPs, so I'm not going to discredit it. I just wait for more information. Horizon Zero Dawn 2. The game looks so good. Now, I don't know how much of that, what they showed us was CG or in-game movie, or how much of it was gameplay. But if that scene underwater replicates the in-game engine, my eyeballs are going to melt out of my skull. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I can't wait to play. Which brings us to the end of the show, where they showed off a lot of testimonials of game developers that are working on PS5 and their excitement to be working on PS5 and what PS5 brings to the table. Now, usually I don't really listen to these things because they end up sounding kind of cheesy and forced, but when I really think about what this SSD brings to the table, not just for Sony, but for the future of gaming, it has me very excited. And so I believe in the excitement of these developers, specifically working on PlayStation 5 games. I do honestly believe that the PS5's SSD holds the key to the future of gaming experiences. I mean, when your system can literally focus on what's being loaded up directly in front of you, as opposed to the world all around you, the possibilities become a lot greater. So I'm excited to see what Sony does over the next 5 years, because that's going to be when the biggest jumps with the PS5 are going to happen. But I want to know down in the comments what you guys think. Let me know what you think of the PS5 and its design, the controller, the games that are coming out for it. Does it stand up with what Xbox has shown off so far? But I can tell you from my end, I am hella excited. Alrighty guys, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're not already subscribed, this is a perfect time to do that. And if you want to stay even further updated with what I'm doing, hit that little ding-a-ling bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.